everybody, welcome back to Wow Mom Cooking. Today we are going to be cooking for the holidays. We're going to be making something that is great for dinner, it's great for an appetizer, and it's great for a snack. So grab your pens, your papers, and your aprons, and let's get cooking with Wow. So today what we're doing is we are making some semi-homemade warm stuffed rolls. What I did beforehand was the roll part. These are frozen rolls. They're Rhodes brand. You can buy them in a package of dinner rolls. You can buy bread. You can buy anything you want to from them. It's really great. What I did was I sprayed each one of these pans with some olive oil, our garlic flavored olive oil with my little misto. You guys know about that. Then I dropped each one of the rolls in here, sprayed them again, and then I sprinkled some garlic and some granulated garlic on top. Leave them sitting here so they can thaw. It takes about 2 hours for that to happen. That's why I did this all ahead of time. So these are ready. We're gonna get everything else ready that we need to have going, so we're gonna move these to the side. We'll keep them covered because that keeps them nice and fluffy and doing their thing. First thing we're gonna do is get our little mozzarella cheese going. These are called pearls. It comes in a big chunk about like this. Looks just like a mozzarella ball, but when you unwrap the package and you start breaking it apart, they're already in little pieces. So what we need to do to this is add a little bit of olive oil. I'm gonna grab that. We've got some garlic flavored olive oil. We're gonna just drizzle enough over this just to get these moist and to get the dill that we're gonna put in here to stick to it. So that's all good. Now we're gonna grab our dill. Got our dill right here, some fresh, yummy, tasty, smells so good dill. Need a couple tablespoons when we're all done. And the dill, remember, you can pretty much use the whole thing. The stem itself is really soft and it's really fragrant and tasty, so it's perfectly fine to use that with it. So we're gonna chop this up. Once you start chopping, you can smell those flavors. Always smells delicious. Now these are similar, if you guys watched the Fat Man and Little Boy show, to one of the little appetizer snacks that we had in our test kitchen the other day that I took over to them. This one has meat in it too though. What I gave them was just a little side dish. We did the exact same thing, but all we did was put the cheese in. So you can do this either way. You can put chicken in here, you could put sausage in here. Today we're gonna do it with hamburger. We're gonna season that up really well and cook it so that all we're doing is baking the roll when we do this. So this looks like a lot. Might have more than we need. Probably need about 2 tablespoons. That's one. And maybe a little more than 2 that we ended up with, but we're close. So what we're gonna do is stir that up. We're gonna let these sit and have all these aromas and flavors just kind of coat into this and grab onto the cheese so that it tastes even better when you're biting into those yummy rolls. Okay, so we're gonna set this aside. Our meat. When we're using hamburger and something like this, we don't need a lot of fat. What we want is a lot of flavor, and we want actually good quality meat because we're gonna basically be making a meal in a roll. So this is ground chuck. A little bit higher quality, a little bit less fat. That's why you can see it's very red, looks really good. We are gonna take this, we're gonna cook this on our stovetop in our black skillet, and we are gonna use with that this is garlic paste. This is really great. Actually, we're gonna put some of this in with our cheese before we move on, because I think that's gonna add some good flavor to it. In this little package, there are 23 cloves of garlic, so it's very concentrated. We're gonna add about a tablespoon to our cheese, and then we're gonna mix it up again. You guys are jealous because you can't smell it. I'm telling you. It's already good. Now to this you could add some fresh tomatoes, chop it up and make it a salad. That would be delicious too. And then you're all done. So set this aside. What we're gonna do is we're gonna get our meat together. We've got our meat, we've got our garlic. I have some dried chilies. I've got some of our sliced dried garlic. We've got peppercorns, and we have some sea salt. So we have all of our seasonings ready to go. So what we're gonna do is get all this together, get it into the skillet, and then we're gonna show you how to cook it. So I'm gonna start on that right now. Get my peppercorns going. Do a little bit at a time. It seems to go a little faster. When you have too many in here, they don't crush quite as well. Want to end up with a couple tablespoons. I know you're gonna think everything I'm putting in here is a lot of everything, but remember, we're only gonna have a little bit in each one of our rolls, so you wanna have a packed full of flavor. Get that punch. Get that definite wow out of these rolls. Now what we can also do at the same time is grind some of these dried sliced garlics. Now, they crunch up really easy. We're gonna add some of this. We're also gonna add some of the garlic paste. We're also gonna add a little bit of the granulated garlic. Each one of them tastes different. So that's why we're gonna add a little bit of each thing. This looks really good. Once we get this ground up, we're gonna put a little bit of these chili flakes in here too, because we wanna release those flavors before we put them in. Probably only gonna add about a teaspoon of the chili flakes because we don't want it to be really super spicy, we just want it for flavor. Okay, this is enough to get us started, and what we're gonna do is move everything into the skillet. I'm gonna grind up some more of this so that we have about 2 tablespoons of the peppercorns. We need about 2 tablespoons of the sliced garlic. We've got all that we need of the chilies, dried chilies. We're gonna put about 2 tablespoons of this kind of garlic in it, the garlic paste, and we're also gonna put about 2 tablespoons of the granulated garlic. We will put a little bit of salt in there too. We don't want too much salt, just enough to flavor the meat. So when we're done with that, I will have it all on the stove and ready to show you guys. Okay, we have our ground beef here. It's about 2 pounds of ground beef, and what we're gonna do is add a little bit of olive oil to it, the same garlic olive oil we used before, so that it doesn't stick to the pan. Gonna get the heat going on high, because what we wanna do is brown all of this, get all those flavors incorporated, and then cool it down before we make our rolls. So we're gonna just start breaking this up a little bit. Give the olive oil a chance to get to the pan. Okay, then we're gonna season it a little bit. Start with some salt. And we're gonna start putting some of our delicious pepper, garlic, crushed chilies, all in here. Okay. We're gonna mix that up just a little bit. See if we need to add some more oil. Remember, there's not a whole lot of fat in this. So we may need to add just a little bit more to keep it from burning and sticking to the pan. It is a little bit dry, so I'm going to put just a touch more in here. Then we're going to add some of our other ingredients. We need our granulated garlic. Remember, we want about 2 tablespoons. That's 1. And that's 2. We've also got our granulated onion. 1 and 2. Starting to smell really good already. Now we're also going to add some California chili pepper, mostly just for the color, to keep it red. So we're just going to sprinkle it across the top. We already have those crushed chilies in here, remember. We're not looking for a lot of heat, we're just looking for some color and a little bit of taste. Okay, so let's keep stirring that. Grab my pot holder. Don't want to get burned. You can see it's starting to brown already. So it's not gonna take very long for us to do this. So what we're gonna do is get all this nice and just brown. We don't want it to be crispy, we don't want it to be crunchy, we want it to be just brown, because it will cook a little bit more when we pop those rolls in the oven too. Okay, we need to put a little bit more salt in here. And then we just want to keep chopping. We want this to be just like ground beef would be for spaghetti. We don't want chunks of ground beef, we want little pieces of ground beef. We're going to keep it cooking. It looks like it's just about ready to add our garlic paste in too. So we'll get to that in just a second. You can see there's a little tiny bit of oil in the bottom of the pan, but not a lot, and we want to keep it that way. It's about halfway cooked right now, so what we're going to do is we're going to add that garlic paste in. Remember I said we're going to put about 2 tablespoons of this in here. You can measure it out if you want to, or you can make just 2 little dollops in here that look like they're about a tablespoon. If you use more or less, it's fine. It's whatever is to your taste anyway. So let's get that stirred in. That's immediately going to give you a great aroma that you can smell and kind of get an idea of what this is going to start to taste like. This looks really good. We're just about there. I can still see a little bit of pink. We just want to get rid of just the pink. As soon as that's gone, we're going to turn our heat off and we're going to take this off the fire so that it can cool down and be ready to go into our rolls. All right, we have our cooked ground beef. It's in a bowl, cooling off a little bit. I've been stirring it to help it cool just a little so we can keep going with our little recipe. We're going to spread it out in the bowl, and we are going to add to this 1/2 cup of the grated Parmesan cheese, just the regular old stuff that's usually sitting on the counter, not out of the deli section, anything like that, just regular grated Parmesan cheese. If it clumps up from being cold, just break it up. It's one of the reasons we want it to cool just a little bit, is we don't want the cheese to stick in just one spot. We want it to get through all of this meat and make it taste even better. Perfect. Just gonna stir it around a little just to make sure it's everywhere. A few little pockets where it's hiding. There you go. See that? Looks great. We're gonna set this aside and we are going to start working on our rolls. Look at these beautiful things. There are 2 different ways you can do this. You can take these out and put these onto a baking sheet right next to each other so that they make kind of a cute looking little pull apart kind of thing going on, or you can take these out of here and put them right back into the muffin pan. What I'll do is I'll show you how to do both. This one I'm going to take and I will put these onto the baking sheet. What I've done with the baking sheet is I've already lined it with foil. I'm going to dump these right out. Okay. And I have a small baking sheet because 12 of these will fit this small sheet just perfectly. So, I know it looks like we flattened these out, but it's okay. It's kind of what we want to do with them. We're going to turn them over. The top already has kind of a little crust on it. And what we're going to do with these, move this over so you can see. So we're kind of going to pull these from the center, make them into a little cup, so you have somewhere to put what's going to go on the inside. All right, let's see. Grab a spoon. We've got our cheese, all nice and yummy, and we've got our meat. So what we're going to do is put, 2 or 3 of these pieces with all the yummy good stuff, the garlic and the dill in here, right there. Then we're going to take and put a spoonful. See if we can get 2 spoonfuls in here. Probably not. Maybe a little bit more than 1. About 1.5 spoonfuls in each one of these things. Then what we're going to do is pull up all these sides, close it back up, We're gonna pinch them all together. Oh, and something important I forgot to do. I'm gonna grab our misto. We need to spray the aluminum foil, the bottom of it. Okay, got that all going. Okay, now we are going to fold these up. Make sure we pinch the bottom a little bit, turn it over, and we are going to stick it right on the tray just like this. We're gonna do that for all 12 of these. It's really, really simple. They'll start to rise again, which is fine. So that's what we want them to do. Put some more cheese. See if we can get a big spoonful. Do this all in one spoon. There we go. And start pulling the sides. It's kind of a fun thing to do with your kids too, if you want them to get involved. They can always help you pull these sides together. They think it's great. And no matter what, this is on the bottom, so it doesn't matter if it looks ugly or not because no one will ever see it. They'll pick it up, they'll eat it, and it will be delicious. There we go. Got two of those touching each other right there. We'll put one more right next to it. Got some more cheese in there. Okay, got a good spoonful of meat. Just keep pushing it back in there if it falls out. And now we'll go to the other side. Okay. Flip this one over, and now they're perfectly touching. That's great. I'm going to show you how to do one in the muffin pan. Move that to the side. Bring our muffin pan back. So let's give our misto one more shot. It's already pumped up. We want to give these a little spray again on the bottom, just to make sure they don't stick. And let's get one of these filled up. Don't be afraid to get some of the dill into the meat or the meat into the dill because we're going to use all of this and it won't matter anyway because it's all going to go together inside of here, so it's perfectly fine if they're touching. That one works easy. And we will stuff everything in here, pull it all together, pinch them all, turn it over, and drop it right back in there. Works just great. We'll do this with all 12. We'll do the whole sheet on the other one, and then I'll come back and show you how to do the topping on that because we are going to melt some butter, put a little bit of olive oil in that butter and some garlic in that butter. Then we're going to brush the top. Then we're going to add some Parmesan cheese to the top of those things, and then we're going to pop them in the oven at 350. We've got our oven going right now. It'll be ready as soon as we finish with all of these. Okay, we have 12 of these guys on the little cookie sheet. Now the reason we don't do all 24 on a big cookie sheet is the ones in the middle don't seem to cook quite as well as if you do them in 2 small batches. So we've melted a stick of butter. I'm going to add just a touch of the garlic olive oil again. And we're also going to put about a tablespoon of the garlic paste in here again. We'll mix it all up. That's going to be our topping. After we brush each one of them with this, we're going to put the fresh shredded Parmesan cheese on top. Then we're going to pop them in the oven. So we're just going to mix this up real good. Just takes a second. Make sure all that garlic is incorporated in this butter. Okay. Now we are going to generously coat these. We want the flavor, we want the texture, we want the taste to be just delicious. And you can see it kind of a little bit of chunks coming out when I do that. That is the garlic. Doesn't completely break down, but it does get in there and get melted a little bit. And we like having a little bit of that on top of there anyway. So a couple more. And you can see I'm not afraid to use the butter. Butter makes it taste better. Real butter. You can substitute margarine if you like. You could spray them with just a light coating of olive oil if you'd like. This is the best way to make them taste the best. Now we're going to sprinkle these with just a little bit of shredded Parmesan cheese. My little bit might be a little bit more than your little bit, so don't be afraid to do more or less, whatever you'd like. These are now ready to go into the oven. They're gonna go in the oven at 350 for about 15 to 20 minutes. You just kind of have to keep your eyes on them. When they're golden brown, they are completely cooked and ready to take out and enjoy. So I'm gonna put these in the oven and then I'm gonna show you what they're like when they're done. All right, these are out of the oven. They're cooling a few minutes because they need to cool before we eat them. So we're gonna make ourselves a little drink first. I have some flowered hibiscus in syrup. We're gonna put a couple of these in here because it's really pretty. Makes the drink look really nice. Pour a little bit of that syrup in there for some color. Open up our 7-Up. Pour it over the ice. Let it fizz down a little bit. Okay, oh, we have room for some more. Woo! All right, we're gonna put one more of these in here. Now these are edible and they're in some really sweet, delicious syrup. They make a great addition to any drink you wanna have, whether it's an adult beverage or a kid beverage or either way. Perfect. Now, look at that. Doesn't that look good? Looks delicious. Let's taste it. That is perfect. It's gonna go great with our warm, tasty stuffed roll. We're gonna get one of these off of here. Now, when I put this recipe online, I did suggest you serve it with some kind of something to dip it with. I put a little bit of blue cheese dressing on my plate. I'm gonna taste it first without it, see how it is. I can see the cheese is all melted in there. It looks delicious. Smells good too. Wow. That is a little burst of flavor. Delicious, great. You can see inside there the melted cheese, the meat. You can probably see the steam coming out. It tastes incredible. I know these aren't homemade rolls, but they taste just like homemade rolls. I'm gonna give it a little dip and see how much better that makes it. Either way, perfect. This makes a great snack, great appetizer, or a great main course. When I serve these for dinner, these are gonna be served with some soup. So it makes a great meal complete that way. This is delicious. I'm gonna set this down, have a little drink. They're still really warm coming out of the oven. I wanna thank you guys again for hanging out with me on Wow Mom Cooking today. See you next time. We'll do some more holiday treats, and you guys have a great time until then.